Let's see. This is
Been suicidal till I subbed to the stream. Thanks for giving me something to look forward to. Another milestone. Much love, Los.
Los Pollos, I love you. I love you so much.
that, dude. I heard half of that, and he said another milestone. Hey, man, I'm glad that you're better, bro. All right, let's see. 100% proof that LeBron is the most clutch player in the last 20 years. Wait, let me think about this. Last 20 years. So that goes back to 1991. So is he including Jordan in this?
This is a graph plotting all of the greatest perimeter scorers and their performances in the clutch during the regular season over the past 2 decades. Right here is Paul George, here is Jimmy Butler, and here is Damian Lillard. And like I said, this graph scales over the past 20 years. So here are all...
No, see, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. It's not going back to when Jordan played. It's going back to 2001. I'm bugging. That's what I meant. So I'm like, dude, this is like a bullshit title. Cause it's like, yeah, like LeBron has been the best the last 20 years. But then he's gonna be like, oh no, but if we look at the last 30 years, bro, like, you know, Jordan's the best. Like that's what. So what's the point of this video?
This is a graph plotting all of the greatest perimeter scorers and their performances in the clutch during the regular season over the past 2 decades. Right here is Paul George, here is Jimmy Butler, and here is Damian Lillard. And like I said, this graph scales over the past 20 years. So here are all-time greats such as Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and both Ray Allen and Dirk Nowitzki. All the way over here is Kyrie Irving. Down here is Kobe Bryant.
Wait, what does this mean?
And all the way up here,
what does this mean?
Is LeBron James. Not too long ago, I made a video answering the question, who is the greatest clutch performer the NBA has seen over the past 10 years? In that video, we all learned a lot about the league and some of the greatest volume scorers and what they are able to do in the most pressure moments of their careers. But after that video, I did want to figure out, as well as many other people, who is the greatest clutch performer, not only of the last decade, but in the past 2 decades, which made things a bit more difficult, largely because these numbers are extremely hard to come across. So just for my viewers, I dig deep, did the research, and came to the conclusion of who is the greatest clutch performer in the past 2 decades in the NBA. And you would be surprised that all of these performers still do not amount to the greatest clutch performer of all time, and that is today's sponsors, Manscaped. Manscaped is the best when it comes to men today.
What the
so many
fuck,
people
bro?
in an attempt to manipulate the
Fucking
answers
3-minute
or change the
ad.
parameters to best favor their argument. And because of this, I decided to just use the default settings on NBA.com and how they decide to define what in the clutch is, which so happens to be the last 5 minutes in a game where the score differential is 5 points or less. Also, for the people out there who are wondering who I included in my studies, quite simply, any player who averaged 15 points or more for any extended period of time, as well as being a perimeter player, more than likely made this list, outside of a few exceptions. And if you look at this graph, which simply conveys the field goal percentage in contrast to the amount of made field goals in the clutch per game, you can clearly tell that not only is LeBron James head and shoulders amongst everyone else, but he has the volume there as well. And for full transparency, here are all of the players that I included in my research, along with their field goals made in the clutch per game, as well as their field goal percentage. And again, as you can clearly see,
Dude, look who's dead last, bro. Look who's literally dead last. I don't understand the mindset of people who are sitting here spamming Z. Like, if you don't like something, right? Why would you not just leave the stream? You're literally, like if you're bored to the point where you're falling asleep spamming Z's, why the fuck are you in this stream still? Get the fuck out of it. Like, I'm confused. I've never in my life been like purposely making myself bored to fall asleep. Like, that's a torture tactic. Dude, what? Okay, let's just see what this is. It's not even a long video. There's 5 minutes left. Fucking ADHD, bro. Holy shit.
It's even more prominent now. LeBron James is head and shoulders above everyone else. And then on the other end of the spectrum, which essentially is below average, we have players such as Trace McGrady, Allen Iverson, Paul George, who was at the bottom of my last video and still is now, and of course, Kobe Bryant. Now, I already hear all of these stat nerds in the background yelling out that field goal percentage is not the proper way to assess efficiency, which is correct. Please remember that field goal percentage equals accuracy, not efficiency. So if we want to look at efficiency, then you would have to look at this graph here. And with this graph, you can clearly tell that there are a few things that are different, but since the field goal made per game are the same, you more or less can kind of guess where some of these names are at. And just to highlight a few of these names, Allen Iverson is all the way at the bottom.
So it's field goals per game, like in the clutch, is the bottom graph, and then it's what your percentage is. So the closer you are to here, like your S, the more you go like this way, you're still good, but unless you're like up here, like the efficiency is not there. So LeBron's efficiency is over 50%, and he's okay.
Carmelo, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady are relatively close to one another. At the top, we have Ray Allen, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, but all the way at the tippy top, we have Steph Curry, and yet again, towards the bottom, we still have Kobe Bryant. And again, for full transparency, here's a list of all of the players sorted by their effective field goal percentage, and again, the last 5 minutes of a game in which he pointed.
Effective field goal. Okay.
Differential.
I don't know what effective field goal percentage means. I don't know. Does that factor in like, what is that? I don't know. I don't know what that means. But we know that like, okay, like we know Curry's not clutch. Like he's not like clutch like this. Like, so there's got to be some weird loophole in these stats. There's got to be something, bro. There's got to be something in this. There's got to be. There's got to be. Effective field goal percentage. Okay.
5 points or less during the regular season. And with these numbers, it is very important to point out that someone like Paul George, who was all the way at the bottom in the last graph, now finds himself around average just because most of the shots that he attempts in these situations are three-pointers, which obviously would up his efficiency. And again, you can clearly
wait. What? Wait. What is this stat? Why is shooting threes up your efficiency? What is this stat? Like, I don't get it. Like, this stat is like Paul George was dead last, and now he somehow beat everyone else out.
See that being represented in this infographic. Another thing to point out is that most of the players who are on the bottom half of this list are players who played during the 2000s, which makes sense since most of these players just were not attempting three-pointers at the same volume that we see them being attempted at in today's game. And with that being said, it is still very impressive that Dirk Nowitzki finds himself this high up on this list just because he played in an era where there just wasn't that much three-point shooting. However, in my opinion, the most impressive thing about this list is that LeBron James is third, and he spent a huge portion of his career being an average to below average three-point shooter, especially in contrast to a lot of other players in today's league. So looking at accuracy and efficiency.
So this actually makes sense why Curry's actually that high. Because he only shoots threes. Like, let's be honest, if it's a clutch situation especially, he's only shooting threes. That's why he's so high up on the list.
LeBron finds himself at the top. But for many people, this just isn't enough. Pointing out what a player may do during a meaningless regular season game just isn't important enough in the
Dude, there's so many Curry dick riders in here, bro. It's so annoying. Like, you can't say anything about Curry. Like, you, even if it's literally a fact, I just said, yeah, he shoots in the clutch. Look how high he went up. He wasn't even on that list. Where's the original list? Was he even top 5 on the original list? Where's he at? 44% on the original list. Now let's see it. He went up almost 9 points. That's literally because this stat is for 3-point shooting. I literally said a fact and dude's like, dude, what?
A meaningless regular season game just isn't important enough in the conversation that needs to be had with a lot of these numbers. So of course we have to dig a bit more deeper and look at how these players perform in the playoffs.
Okay. Chat. Oh, please keep this same energy, bro. Please. Because you're all sucking the fuck out of Curry. And we were looking at regular season. Oh, chat. Keep the same energy, please, about Curry. Let's see the playoff stats. Please show me the playoff stats, please.
And of course, that is a fair statement, especially when we're talking about clutch performers. The higher the stakes, the more pressure that is put on a player, the more impressive it is to see someone perform on that stage. So I did my research, but I had to do a little tweaking to the numbers. While doing my research, I realized that if I just limited these numbers to the last 5 minutes in a game when the point differential was 5 or less, then the sample size just wasn't going to be large enough. Also, I felt like having such strict limitations on my research really doesn't do playoff games justice, because the reality of it all is every moment in the playoffs is pressurized.
No,
and so personally,
that's not
I felt
true.
like the best way to get a great sample size while still staying true to being in the clutch was to
3-1. First year LeBron lost Kyrie and Love, they would have won that championship. Curry would have lost that. And then 2 years in a row, KD carried the Warriors and won Finals MVP. So Curry got gifted two rings. Actually, Curry got gifted 3 rings because the first year he would have lost that too. So yeah, there's your 3-1. There's your 3-1. Because that one you're talking about, the loss, was when he didn't have KD. And he was playing against a team that wasn't injured in the playoffs, in the finals. So there's his one loss, playing against an actual team that doesn't have KD on it. That's what happens to Curry in the playoffs.
just look at the entirety of the fourth quarter of playoff games when the point differential was 5 or less. Right here is Tracy McGrady, all the way at the bottom. Here, interestingly enough, are both LeBron James and Kevin Durant, with LeBron edging KD out just by a little bit. Here is Kyrie Irving, who took a drastic step in the wrong direction, whose field goal percentage plummets in the playoffs in the clutch in contrast to his numbers during the regular season. Here is Russell Westbrook. Up here is Jimmy Butler, very impressive. Here is Allen Iverson, which is also extremely impressive, especially since most people criticize Iverson for not being efficient. And all the way at the top, we have Chris Paul, which, if you watch my last video, shouldn't be surprising at all because Chris Paul's clutch numbers in the playoffs are stupendous.
Chris
they are
Paul
amazing,
is so
and
clutch,
more
bro.
people should talk about them. But the one thing that I just can't shake, and we can go ahead and address the elephant in the room, and that is Kobe Bryant's numbers. Even though Kobe Bryant has built an amazing reputation of being a clutch performer, when you look at his numbers, they just don't back up those claims. And even going into this video, I knew for a fact Kobe's numbers were going to be very suspect. I didn't think that they were.
No, but the thing is, with Kobe, is it's something that's not on the stat sheet type shit. And we know that Kobe he'll fucking fire up 35 shots in a game. And he can miss fucking 25 of them. But he's a leader though. He's a leader though. But we already knew. No one is sitting here trying to make the claim that Kobe is efficient. No one is making that claim, bro.
Going to be this bad. And just looking at the field goal percentage, I was
Yo,
actually
Lazy,
surprised
thank you.
that Kobe was
Five
so
gifted.
low on this list. But for some of you, that still isn't enough. Because I know for a fact many people want to know who is a player that I'm giving the ball to tie the game or take the lead in a playoff situation. And of course, I did my research for that as well. Now, I'm not going to put these numbers on the graph just because the volume varies so much so that it honestly just wouldn't fit. However, as you can clearly tell, These numbers are very eye-opening. Even though, yes, players such as Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, and Chris Paul are at the top of the list, one can argue the volume isn't high enough to make a legitimate argument for them being the best performers in these late game situations. Whoa. And on the other hand, players such as Paul Pierce, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Kobe Bryant all have the volume, but their percentages are on the wrong side of 30. So honestly, in these late...
Hey, for all the people who are just spamming question marks, talking shit to me, sucking off Curry, let's take a good look at Curry right here in the clutch, right? Let's take a good look. 6 for 21. 6 for 21, 28% field goal percentage. This is a person with 0 finals MVPs, but somehow has 3 rings. Okay. Let's look at some other people here, bro. I want to look at some other people here. Dirk, this is impressive. 8 for 21. Because he's a big, because he's not, he doesn't have the ability that Curry has that he should be able to make shots. Ray Allen, 11 for 21. That's amazing. Who else on here sticks out? Oh my God, Westbrook 3 for... Oh God, dude. Oh my God, Harden 2 for 17. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see what else he says.
Game situations, the 2 to 3 best players to give the ball to are either Ray Allen, LeBron James, or Dirk Nowitzki. Which then leads me to the only conclusion that someone can make after looking at all of these numbers. LeBron is the only player out of all of these lists that consistently finished top 5. And when you take into consideration the volume that came along with it, it is undeniable, at worst, LeBron is one of the greatest clutch performers in the past 20 years. But I would argue, and most people should argue, that LeBron James is the greatest clutch performer the game has witnessed over the past 20 years. But with that being said, people, please let me know what you think about the video.
I don't think any, I agree. I mean, does anyone disagree? Like, because please, throw out who you think in the last 20 years is like more clutch. If you disagree. Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees. Like, we've consistently seen him take and make hard shots, tough shots, clutch shots, meaningful shots. And not only does he do that, but then he also does it on defense too. I mean, the block on Iggy, that block in the finals against the Spurs, when he blocked, what's that big ass dude's name? When he literally blocked his dunk. Fuck, what's that dude's name? It was Thiago Splitter. Yeah, so I don't know. And then, dude, you guys forget last year they would have won in 5 games.
Shot. Who would you rather have taking it, Iggy or Curry?
Of everyone on Golden State, open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth, you better hit it. I want Iguodala.
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, this is pretty eye-opening, dude. This is pretty eye-opening because also what that graph showed, and that's from the last 20 years, bro. Like, look at the attempts for LeBron. Like, he's taken 44 of these shots. That's insane, bro. And he's damn near hit half of them. I mean, all right.